This is Nigeria Now on Equa Television International, and today we're going to be discussing several issues that had to do with Nigeria general election. And today we're talking PVC. And do you know who you are to vote? Are you prepared?
Months to go, people will vote the right person. Someone that will come in and make policies that are going to be to the benefit of the masses, policies that impoverish Nigerians, but leaders that are going to be honest, leaders that at the end of the day they will be visionary, leaders that posterity will live to clap for doing the right thing. So as we look forward to Saturday the 25th of February to go out and vote for the presidential votes foolishly by voting the wrong person, then I think it's going to be a problem. He will not choose who voted for who or didn't vote for who, all of that, but it applies to everybody. So let's ensure that whoever we are voting our conscience, we are voting truth, we are voting vision, we are voting competence, we are voting integrity, we are voting accountability, we are voting transparency, we are voting for somebody that at the end of the day will say we have seen light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Talking about policy, the Naira redesign, you know, APC governors insist Buhari obey Supreme Court order.
This has been a lingering issue. Like, I think every Nigeria, the average Nigeria is already aware of this issue of Naira redesign policy, the Naira swap, the deadline and all of that because of the impact. That's what I'm saying, that everybody can relate to the issue of Naira swap. Why? Because of the impact. Now Naira has become gold. Like, you barely see, to touch or to have it. It's how did you get this? Because, and hoping that she'll be able to withdraw money, but at the end of the day she was told that she can only have 500 naira, and she was lamenting, like, I have money. When we had banks were giving more than half of its fund outside or being hoarded and all of that. We've seen situations where monies are being brought out that were almost rotting, like chopped out and all of the people are hospital in the 101, but in fact, there are some that
is 001.
00. In fact, some is 000, and you see the cases of Kwashoko, and you see people dying. Like, we've seen situations where people died of hunger in this same country where some people hoarded money. So the policy again is to mop out these funds from the hands of those few individuals that decided to hoard it, which is good. But we've always talked about the methodology, the implementation, because no doubt has brought untold hardship again on Nigerians that were already managing with the inflation and other things. So some of these governors approached the Supreme Court saying that the February 10th deadline, in fact it was 31st, and then the Supreme Court gave the order that it should be suspended, the deadline should be suspended pending the hearing, because some governors actually approached the Supreme Court saying that no, like, can they stop this deadline of Naira swap? Governor of Kaduna, Kogi State, and that of Zamfara. And we saw how that order subsequently, and then the court gave an interim order, and then it was actually other states decided to join the three governors, and we saw how that Bayelsa and Edo decided to back the federal government, saying no, this policy must stay, because the people that do not say and say it was in your state that there were insecurity, kidnappings, and all of that. We've not seen you agitating and calling on other governors to go to court to sue federal government. Why now the Naira policy? More like there are some personal interests. There were times where students were at home for dressing traders, even in the state. So why now? People have been raising questions. But again, the Supreme Court, after meeting, actually, people were looking forward to the 15th, and then still gave another interim order that's till 22nd, which is this Wednesday. And people, that's when the Supreme Court is going to be sitting again to hear all the cease to become legal tender. Even though the president again addressed Nigerians last week and said that in hand with the new one until April election. He spoke about the fact that the interest of Nigerians, and that is these governors, some of the APC governors are still aggrieved with that. He said no, the president pended until hearing. And for a lot of legal practitioners, they will tell you the Supreme Court, and like we know, they are powered by the Constitution. They have the power enshrined in the Constitution as like the supreme from the name. And whenever they make a decision, they give an order. It means that every other machinery becomes muted. But in this situation, we saw how the Supreme Court gave the order, the status quo should be maintained until the hearing. But the president came out to say that 500 old 1,000 naira ceased to be legal tender February 10th, only the 200 naira. So these governors said they are not satisfied, even though the federal government approached them saying that we can settle this outside the court. But they said no. The terms they saw on the paper is not it. So in fact, the governor of Kaduna State said in his, he told MDAs and traders they should continue to accept the old and the new until the hearing. We saw how Governor Ganduje of Kano State, in fact, he made like a threat. He's going to deal with any commercial bank that refused to collect the old naira 500 and then 1,000 naira note. Recall he said after the deadline, you can only take the money to Central Bank. So on Sunday, we saw these APC governors having a meeting in Abuja with the national chairman, talking about Abdullahi Adamu, the members of the National Working Committee, and the party's presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu. And then they met in Abuja, and after the discussions, they talk about the fact the governor of Nasarawa State was there, that of Niger was there, that of Kogi, Kaduna, Zamfara, Gombe, Lagos were all in attendance. And then in the meeting, they asked the Attorney General of the Federation, talking about Abubakar Malami, and then the CBN to respect the Supreme Court injunction, which is still existing as far as they are concerned. And this announcement came out from the chairman, talking about Abdullahi Adamu, and he said that they should obey the injunction of the Supreme Court, because this decision of the federal government is causing tremendous pain on the people. So they are actually standing with the people. It's not about their personal interest, but for them to just protect the pain that the people are going through. That's why they came up with that decision that please obey the Supreme Court injunction. So the concern, like I said earlier on, we've had a lot of issues. Like you know how we always maintain that one Nigeria, we're one Nigeria. The goal, the aim should be about the interest of Nigerians. So we saw how that these governors have been up and about, like about this Naira policy, that's what is generating a lot of Naira issue. And we've been having fuel scarcity that is becoming like annual events, like unemployment, a lot of young people on the street. We've had ASU strikes, we've had inflations as of January, 21.8% inflation rate in Nigeria, which is the highest since 2005. Like all these things, we've been seeing them happening. When they declare Nigeria as poverty headquarters, nobody said anything. Over 21 million children are on the street, out of school. Nobody's mobilizing to say no. We saw how insecurity bedeviled us, kidnappings, killings, attacks. Southern Kaduna suffered it. Plateau State, Zamfara, like we can go on mentioning states. Yet we didn't see these people mobilizing, saying that, no, I cannot sleep because of this. But here comes these people. And another worrisome concern is the fact that they are from the same party. They are APC governors. So people were thinking, oh, we'll see them supporting the president. And then reverse is the case. It is the two PDP governors that are actually standing with. And then some of the civil society organizations are also saying that federal government must not go back on his decision. We saw how some political parties to say, no, you must keep to your decision, CBN, because these governors are only trying to protect their personal interests. In fact, the CSO said that there are 10 governors that are mopping out funds in some of these states just so they can buy votes. And you recall that CBN said one of the reasons for this policy is so that they will stop this vote buying. And so what interests are these governors really protecting? But like we always say, we'll watch out the situation, how it unfolds. And our duties as watchdogs of the society is to bring every detail to the hearing and of Nigerians, which will always maintain. But at the end of it all, let the people matter.
At the end, let the people matter. It is very, very key. It's very important because it's worrisome when you see how these governors are crisscrossing this country, having meetings, having restless night, thinking about this issue of Naira swap, and then they are talking about how the policy is anti-people, and you begin to ask yourself in their state, what they have that is out there they can show people and said, for the sake of their leadership, this is how what they did, to cushion the effect of even their immediate community. Because when you talk about the federal government, that everybody inclusive, but when you talk about your state, you are the chief executive officer of your state. What are you doing differently, to make your people of your state stand out? When you say you go around and beep your light, hardly you could find 1 or 2, 3 things that you said this thing is people friendly, or policies or development, particularly development, that you say this one is people friendly. But look at it now, to a point that is, I said, no wonder General Buba Marwa retired, was saying some of these politicians should go through tests. And I agree with him, because some of them, when they talk and you begin to wonder, are they just waking up from sleep? And even if you are just waking up from sleep, I believe by having a sleep, you should have a refresh of your mind, that you wake up and say things that are reasonable, not saying things that are people because of what they are going through, in order not to go the violence part. Because going that part, it would jeopardize everything that INEC has done, everything that we have put in place, the money budgeted and the money being spent for this election in particular. You see, our leaders do things that will jeopardize certain process of government because they feel during the process their money is not involved. That's how I look at it. Because if your end money is involved, there are certain things that you will be careful, you'll be caution about them. Because now if anything goes wrong, they don't have anything to lose when you talk about investment in money watch, because the federal government invested heavily, concerning this election. So we can't afford to see people just like that, instigate people to just go the other part that will make this election not to work, because we want this election truly to work so that the voices of the masses should speak this time around, and that is what we are after. Talking about voting, Atiku Abubakar is saying voting Tinubu this time around is like moving from frying pan to fire.
Brought together, they signed a peace accord saying that this election, their campaigns and everything is going to be peaceful without instigating anybody against anyone. But reverse was the case. We kept seeing in their campaigns how people are attacking one another. In fact, sometimes you see some of these politicians, they will go for campaign and they will just end up rendering insults to opposition parties. Like that's like the trend. And the concern has been that if we continue in that line, it might lead to open the door for anarchy, violence, and all of that. We've seen how that talks kept attacking political parties, rallies, campaigns, and all of that. And we were always expecting that we will see these politicians, these candidates, the gladiators, coordinate themselves, deal with issues, and not just to be insulting attacking each other. But if you ask me, all the insults we've been saying goes a long way to show their personalities and all of that. And if Nigerians are actually following and watching, then you should be thinking, is this what these people are going to bring to the table? That's why I keep asking the question, though the person you're deciding to vote is on what ground that you're voting? Have you followed these people through their campaigns and sat down and heard what they've said so far? Like, are you convinced to vote for that person? If you vote for that person, would you say that posterity will remember you for doing the right thing? Because we kept seeing these people rendering insults upon insult, verbal violence. You go, they have instigated even their followers. When you go online, you see internet terrorists. People, like, the way they use words on themselves is like if they just see themselves, they will strangle themselves. I wonder, like, isn't that an insult to the sensitivity of the problems, the issues that Nigerians are facing in a time of peril such as this, that you expect politicians to talk about issue. Nigeria, we're talking about poverty, we are ranking like top. How do you intend to bring us like out of that position? You talk about unemployment, our youth are almost littered on the street with just certificate and no job opportunities. Those that are already having skills, the environment is not even enabling. You see our doctors, they keep moving out of the country. Nurses are moving out. Young people, they tell you like it's either they die trying or they have to go out. So all these things, how can we see these people talking about how they are going to bring down the inflation rate? The cost of living is high. Is high and difficult. How do you intend to bring us out from consumption to production? Like these children that are out of school, how do you intend to take them back to the classroom? Because a nation that prioritizes education is a nation that will never be backward. But you won't see these people talking about the issues that Nigerians are facing, but rather you keep seeing people insult upon insult. It's my turn. No, I did this to you in the past 7 years. This one will bring another issue. You promise. Like it's up to individuals to decide who rules. I begin to wonder, so where's the place of Nigerians? If this one is saying I made that voting Tinubu is like transition from frying pan to fire. And I think drawing from his speech, he made that statement through his special assistant on public communication, talking about Frank Sheibu. And that statement was made while addressing the youth wing of PANDEF, because they came out to show their support for Atiku. They said they were disregarding the information from their national body saying they should support Obi. So for the youth wing, they said no, their support is for Atiku. And so the special assistant on public communication, Frank Sheibu, while addressing them, was talking about the fact that voting Tinubu is like moving from frying pan to fire, because we saw how that from last year Tinubu has been saying he's going to continue on the good works, like he's going to continue where Buhari stopped. And then for some people, where Buhari is more like he has failed them. He has brought untold hardship and all of that. So he's saying if he's on that basis, you're going to support, you're going for Tinubu, then you're moving from frying pan to fire. Like he brought out some of the issues, how that continuously he goes to the campaign, had inflation, we've had like Nigeria's debt now, I don't even know like the level we have reached at this point, because some people have expressed fear for the future generation and all of that. So we are not taking away the fact that yes, there were some good things, policies that were implemented by this administration, but compared to the things that have happened over the years. So he's saying if it is on that basis that Tinubu is saying I will continue where Buhari stopped, then Nigeria, you are transiting from frying pan to fire. And he talked about the fact that Tinubu should have a direction. Today he says he's going to support continue where Buhari stopped. And then again, on another, where the Naira scarcity and the Naira swap and then his first scarcity came about, he said that it was against him. You get? So he said he doesn't have, he should take a stand. If you're continuing, let's know you're continuing. But if you're saying, no, you're not with him, then let's know something is wrong with the party. So the needful should be done. Whatever it is, whatever they are deciding, we've seen how every day on the paper is either Atiku is telling Tinubu this or Tinubu is telling Atiku this. Their followers the same thing. But I think what is more important is just 4 days to go. Can we calm down on the insult and then verbal violence and focus on the issues Nigerians are deciding on the 25th of February 2023 on who becomes their next president? Let's talk about issues.
Yes, I agree with you, because as the days draw near, I don't expect to hear the gladiators talking about themselves. They should be talking about Nigeria itself and convincing people why they should vote them. And another thing, when they talk about the Buhari continuing from frying pan to fire, is the issue of age, because they feel you need somebody that is agile. You know how Buhari has been going in and out, of hospital, traveling, for medical care. And Nigerians don't want to repeat that. They are looking at it now. If we vote this person, possibly we will see that repeat.
Well, some people have the opinion that age does not matter, because we saw how the Yaradua, even in his 50s, like he fell ill and he died. You get? So they are of the opinion that age does not matter. But I think we need someone that is sound, mentally, physically, like spiritually, all completely.
Yeah,
We
holistically.
Need holistically. Thank you for the word. We need someone that is sound, because the issues in Nigeria, you have to be sound. You don't need to be carried away or having. No wonder Buba Marwa, as well as psychiatrists, said that this candidate should be subjected to mental check-up and all of that. So because the issues in Nigeria, we are also concerned about them, because if we don't check their health, the issues in Nigeria can make you go before your time.
It's true.
You get.
It's
so
true.
it's very important that they are holistically okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, briefly before we go, our time is well spent. Reject evil, vote God-fearing leaders, says Catholic bishops of Nigeria.
Well,
we've been briefly.
Yes, we've been talking about who should be vote. What are the expectations of Nigerians? But just like the Catholic bishop, nobody will say vote evil. Don't vote evil, but vote someone that fears God, someone that has integrity, someone with good antecedents and pedigree, someone that is competent, accountable, and then somebody that is going to transform this nation, like from backwardness to forwardness, from consumption to production, somebody that will uplift us, someone that at the end of the day will clap ourselves and say, yes, we voted right.
Thank you, Jess, for doing this with me, and for the viewers out there. We thank you for your comment. Thank you a lot for being with us. And I want to just say this briefly. Our leaders, when you are telling us vote wisely, I think it's a high time to tell us the direction where we are to vote, because in this election you have to make a point, because it's either you are in or you are out. So I think we should have a direction, because most of our people down the grassroots, they are not yet aware of the direction of where our leaders in the church are going. So I think with a clear direction, we will all go there, and then we'll all win together. Thank you very much for doing this with us. Tomorrow, same time, same station, we are coming with a different topic. So join us. Thank you, and God bless you.